Good morning. Welcome back to Pilates. My name is Mary. If any of you are new to this, and today what we're going to cover off, the main part of our exercise is going to be the 10 exercises, the top 10 exercises for active aging. So these are the movements and the strength that we need going forward to make sure that we can continue to clean the house, to move and reach for things we need to reach in the cupboard, to squat and pick things up, and the basic movements that help us keep us independent in our homes as we go forward. So when we get to that part, they're not going to be especially challenging. But they're very important, and you can always ramp them up. So we've covered off, I think, all or most of these exercises in our classes so far, so you'll be familiar with them. And over time, if you want to review them, you can always add on and add on the pieces that we do in the classes. So let's just start by loosening up a little bit. We're going to, here, I'll stand sideways so you can see me. We're going to loosen up a little bit through the shoulders. So let's just put those elbows back, and then the hands will press back. And just a nice, easy move here as you get some movement through those arms and shoulders. So pressing back, elbows back. So you're trying to get the elbows back a little bit here without moving the core. So the whole time I'm doing this part is really just staying like a plank so that the movement is coming from your shoulders. But we're not straining anything here. We're just starting out nice and easy. Let's do 4 more of these. During the classes, always remember to breathe. If you hold your breath, you'll probably be tensing your muscles as well, and you won't have the blood flow you need to do the exercises. So shake that out. All right, let's bring the arms up to, these are called cactus arms. So see if you can get this position. You may find yours tilt a little bit forward. You may need to bring them a little lower to get a comfort level for you. But if you're comfortable around the neck and the shoulders to bring them up to this position, then do that. So let's just move from here to here and bring that back, up and back. And up and back. And when you're bringing them back to this position, maybe squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit. It's not a big, strong move, but just a little encouragement to get those shoulder blades together. That'll help you open up through the front of the chest. Let's do 3 more. And 2. And 1. And just bring that down for a second and shake it out. Going to do a little bit more through the shoulders to work things around the rotator cuff. So we're coming back to that cactus position. And now you're going to rotate through the shoulder and just roll the arms in this direction. So it's actually whatever movement your shoulder will allow here. And it's different for everybody. So you're rotating back and rotating down. You may not get very far. There's a lot of limitations we develop through the shoulders over time. And let's do 3 more of those. Rotate back. Don't go to the point of straining anything or hurting anything. And if this is too uncomfortable for you, just let it go. And bring that back and bring it down. All right, shake that out again. And let's just sweep the arms up and down. Getting some nice movement through the shoulders and the shoulder blades. And 1 more. And bring that down. All right, let's pay a little bit of attention to the feet. We're going to start out by just standing feet hip width apart. So again, that's not the outside width of our hips. That's if you were to locate your hip bones, your legs kind of fall down from that position. And then just roll 1 foot up until you've got a little bit of a crease at the base of the toes, especially the big toe, and bring that back. Let's go to the other side and back. Take a little look down to see if your foot is staying straight forward. That's what we're aiming to get. If you find your foot is actually rotating out to the side, that's likely because you have some stiffness at the base of the big toe, which a lot of us do. And so just dial it back then. Try to keep your foot straight, but perhaps not roll it up. So let's just go from one side to the other. And let's incorporate a little bit of movement through the hips here as we go. So we're trying to loosen up the pelvis at the same time that we're getting some loosening through the feet. And we're going to need this through the feet because we're just about to go to an exercise where we're going to be really working that part of the foot. So one more time. And bring that down and shake it out. If you're near your chair, you might hold on to the back of it for a second and just put that foot behind you. So I'm standing like this. So the foot is rolled under. I'm just getting a nice, gentle, comfortable stretch on the top of that instep. And shake that out. Let's go to the other side. Other foot rolls under. And shake that out. All right, so take a moment to come to your chair and hold on to the back of it. We're going to do some heel raises here. And so instead of just doing them one at a time, like we just did a moment ago, you're going to hold on to your chair. Try to keep a nice posture here so that your ears are more or less over your shoulders. Shoulders are over your hips. So you're standing nice and straight. And let's bring both heels up. And down. Sometimes we can go a little bit higher if we've got the confidence of a chair or a wall to support us. And yeah, so let's just repeat this move quite a few times actually, because we want to get some nice movement through the foot. We want to start getting used to holding the weight on the front of the foot. And since you're holding on to something, you can probably feel quite safe in looking down and just see what those feet are doing. Again, if they're moving out to the side as you go up, then don't go quite as high. Try to keep those feet aligned. All right, we're going to do two more like this. Last one, up and down. All right. More or less standing in the same position, you're going to take one foot and put it further behind. So just adjust yourself that you can hold on well to the chair without leaning into it or arching back or feeling insecure in any way. So one foot is placed in front of the other, and then you're going to come up and down. Just going to do three like this, and then we're going to complicate it a little bit. Try to keep equal weight on both feet. All right. This time, you're going to come up. You're going to stay up on the fronts of your feet or keep the heels lifted, and then come down into a little squat. Come out of your squat and put your heels down. So it's 4 steps. Heels come up. Keeping the heels up, we're going to lower down into a squat. Try to move straight up and down. Come out of the squat. And doing this. Remember, it's 4 steps. So heels up. Little bend. Out of it. And let's do 3 more like this. This is another one of those exercises where if you were doing it for an audience, they would say, you're not doing very much really. But I think you can probably agree with me. Right about now, you're feeling it. Okay, and put that down. Let's just shake that out for a minute. Actually, let's just take a moment to drop one knee and the other. Get some nice relaxing movement happening through the pelvis here. All right, let's go back to the chair, and this time, switch which foot is in the lead. So the other foot goes to the front, and the other one has that back position. Adjust yourself so you're standing in a nice posture here. And then let's tape it right up and squat. Out of the squat and down. Keep this going. If you find your feet have had enough, you can just do the little squat without raising the heels. All of it slow. We want to challenge everything. And we're going to do 3 more after this one. You can tell that your leg that's leading is probably feeling it a little bit more than the other one. 2 more. Last one coming up. Here we go. And come out of that. Good. And shake that out. All right. We're going to do a version of a cat and cow using the chair. So your hands are going to go to the back of the chair. Not critical, but if you keep your hands flat to the back, that's good. Maybe step back a little bit. You may have to adjust after you've done 1 or 2 of these. And then you're going to roll up into your cat. So the same as when we're on the floor, we're going to breathe out, bend the knees, and really get a nice roll through the back. Looking back at your thighs, getting a really good rounding through this part of your body. And then you're going to maybe straighten your legs a little bit, maybe not. But you're going to, here, I have to go a little further back. You're going to flatten your back. So it's going to mimic the position of the cow when we're on the floor. So you're going to feel your body maybe pull through your shoulders a little bit here, but your back is flat. All right, let's go up into a cat again. So nice and rounded, looking back toward the thighs, but not straining the neck. And here we go, flat back. Your knees are still a little bit soft. And here we go, cat and cow. And cat and cow. All right, let's come out of that and shake it out. We're going to start into our series of 10 exercises, top 10 exercises for active aging. And one of them we actually already did, but I'm still going to cover these off in sequence. Actually, we've already done a couple. But the critical one, of course, is balance. And we talk about this every class, and we should use, could use, might use every opportunity during the day to challenge our balance. So today we'll just simply do the easy one. If you want to make sure that you're a little sturdier, you can always hold on to the chair. But first, shift your weight to the leg that's going to support you. So you've shifted the weight, the knee is soft, and the muscles in the bum are nice and strong to hold you as you just unweight that foot. If you're doing it without the help of the chair, great. If you want the chair, that's fine too. Put that down. All right. This time, we're going to bring the leg up closer to a tabletop position. And bring it down. All right, we're going to do that again. So a balance exercise is quite simply standing on one leg, but there are a lot of things we do over the run of the day that can also challenge our balance, which is good. So that's one side. Actually, let's stay on the same side, and I'll just show you another version you can do. You can hold on to a wall or a chair, and you're starting in the same way. You're softening that knee and tightening the bum. Put one leg behind you, and you can bring one arm up as you go more into a scale position. And that standing leg is soft. And bring it back. That's another way to challenge your balance. So you can go to the other side, bring that foot back, bring this arm up, and then you're just scaling forward so that things are in line. Tip of your finger to the tip of your toe and come back. So balance, number 1 on our list. Second one is to lift the heels. And we've done lots of that. So for this version, the sequence, I'm just simply going to repeat what we did when we were warming up. So you're lifting one heel, and then you're lifting the other. And repeat. So as you know, this can take all sorts of shapes. This is probably the most basic. And you could bring up both. You're able to do that, bring them down, or you can use a chair to help you. All right, just pardon me as I refer to my list here. Okay, squats, indeed. Okay, I'm going to use my chair. You can if you want. And but you can easily do your squats without the chair. So, and I do this quite often in the other fitness classes that I did teach before COVID. All right, so the objective is to get the bum nice and low and to come up nice and strong. So the basic squat looks like this. You're coming forward, counterbalancing with your arms coming forward, and your bum actually actively reaches back. What you want to be doing, actually, let's just do a few of these. So let's warm up into it. Squatting, coming down, reaching that bum back. We're not curving the front of our body over the toes, but we're trying to keep the back relatively straight. Take a look at what's happening with your knees, or get a sense of what's happening with your knees. Are they starting to open up as you come down? See if you can keep them equidistant apart. All right. What I do in the other classes is actually take this squat right down to the chair, and then we come right up again. So when you do this, number one, you want to make sure the chair is right behind you. And trust me, that's important. A friend of mine cracked 3 ribs. So what you're going to do is go down into that squat, and then you're carefully going to sit down, and then you're going to come right back up again. Not going to take that break that you might want to have. Reach that bum back, and then come on up. You'll see when you go down as low as this, you're having to recruit different muscles than you did when you kind of had a choice about how far you were going standing. So coming down. And I always say to people, we want to continue to sit gracefully. The opposite of that, of course, is that you're losing your muscle tone and you're kind of grunting into the chair and then sort of pushing out of it. I exaggerate to make a point. There are a lot of muscles that have to work together in a coordinated fashion here to have us just sit. Come on up. So to practice this is a great idea. And actually, the lower your seat, and I really don't have anything to practice with today, but you can at home to challenge yourself. You could try it from a lower seat and then see if you're able to get up without the use of your hands. So that's our squats. Put my chair aside, and we're going to move into some lunges. So very straightforward. We've done this before. Lunging forward and lunging back are the 2 steps that mimic our walking. So to practice doing them and to do more than we usually do when we walk means that we'll have a stronger walk. So lunging forward, we're quite simply going here and back. So we're going to lunge alternate feet forward and back. See if you can keep your body back here. So your shoulders would be over your hips. If you want to challenge yourself, you can go a little lower. Also, you can see how softly you land. Land softly means you're recruiting more of the other muscles to really work the body and to hold it, support it as you land. Here we go, last time. And come out of that and drop one knee in the other. All right, to lunge back, Also an important part of walking, as we talked about before, the lunging back will work a little bit more on opening up through the front of the hip, around the hip flexor area. So you can decide what you want to do with your hands. I think I'll just bring mine forward a little bit as you lunge back. Foot back and lunge. See if you can get your heel to the floor. And keep doing these. We're going to do 2 more times each side. Moving backwards doesn't seem to be a move that's terribly intuitive, so we need to work the brain a little bit more to make it happen. All right, and let that go and shake it out. Of course, there are ways to make both versions of lunges much more difficult. Going forward, we can always go deeper. Going behind, we can actually put that leg quite far behind and actually work that foot back to see how far you can go. And then you can see you get much more opening through here. So you can play with that if you find yourself doing these exercises on your own after today. The push-up. We talked last week about how very important it is to continue to strengthen the upper parts of our bodies. And we have a tendency to really let that one slip. So push-ups on the floor in their true, pure form, I think, are an amazing exercise. It recruits so many muscles through the whole body. But relax, we're not going to do that today. That's something you move towards very, very slowly as you build your upper body. Today, if you've got a wall handy, I'd like you to do a push-up from the wall. If I use my wall, you're not going to see anything very interesting, so I'm going to use the chair and pretend it's a wall. So you're going to decide how far back from your wall or your chair you want to be. You can do this on a countertop too. During the day, you can actually, I don't know, waiting for the muffins to come out of the oven, then do a few push-ups against the countertop. But you're standing feet hip width apart again. You decide how far back you're going to be. The further back you are, the more weight you're going to carry across the front. So you decide what works for you. Maybe you want to start out modestly and then the key here is your elbows are going to stay close to your body as you move, and your body is going to stay like a plank, like a surfboard, like a nice strong tree, and it's not going to move. So let's tighten everything in through the core, and we're going to keep the elbows in the body and go toward the wall. And push back. Okay. So remember to try to keep this nice and strong. So there might be a tendency for your nose to try to race you to the wall, which would look like this. And we want to keep the back of that neck nice and straight. There can also be a tendency, I've seen in quite a few of my classes, for the stomach to try to reach over. So the back will kind of arch and come out of that nice plank position. Also not desirable. So try to stay nice and strong as you go in and press through those hands to come back. Now, when you're pressing back, press far enough away from your wall or your chair that your shoulder blades are actually spreading across your back. And then you're coming in and pressing. Breathing in with the easier part might work well for you. Breathing out with the harder part. Let's do 3 more of these. Keeping those elbows into the side. Keeping that neck in a nice position. And let's come out of that and release. So you might want to shake that one out. In fact, let's put our hands behind our back. Clasp the hands together. Push the knuckles down toward the floor and bring the shoulder blades together. So your shoulder blades are together and they're down. And get a nice stretch across the pecs here with doing that. And shake that out. All right. Cats and cows, we've done lots of. And in fact, we're going to take our movements to the floor now. So if you wanted to take a moment to adjust things, we're going to come onto hands and knees onto the floor. So get down there, take your time getting there. Get in a nice position. So a few moments ago, we did cats and cows using the back of the chair. And at the end of class, I'll also show you a nice, easy way to do it standing. But here, we're doing it on hands and knees or on 4-point, starting with the hands, fingers nice and wide. They're going to go on the floor and your hands are going to go under your shoulders. Your hips are going to be back here over your knees. And you're going to have good contact with your fingertips on the floor. That'll help alleviate some of the strain through the wrists. So just pushing up into your cow, cat, down into cow. And so when you're coming into the cow, your shoulder blades are coming together a little bit. Your back is just coming into a nice, comfortable little curve maybe, but not straining it at all. So most of the exercises we're doing today, it's recommended that we do about 20 repetitions. We may or may not do the full 20 today, but if you're doing this series on your own, that's a number you could keep in mind. It should feel nice and good and relaxing, so let's do a couple more sequences. All right, let's hold this last cat and roll back towards your heels. So you may not touch your heels, and that's not necessarily the objective. For me, it's more comfortable, but some of you might find this is a good position. The objective, though, is to keep the back really nice and rounded. So get that rounded position. If you're on your heels, fine. Keeping that nice round here, take a deep breath in. Really feel your lungs expand here out toward the side and out to the back. Then breathe out. 2 more times. Last one. And let's come out of that. Okay. This next one is something I do quite often because, like some of you, I have had a few hip issues in my past. And especially lately with doing a lot of sitting, and I think I even spend more time in bed as well, which for my hips is not a great position. Here's a little reset exercise that will help you keep a little bit of range through your hips and just help align things a little bit better. So you're going to come onto your backs. And one leg can either go out long or you can keep it bent a little bit. You decide what works for you. The other knee you're going to bring in toward your chest. So you might hang on to the back of the thigh here to bring it closer to the chest. Not to the point of big discomfort. In fact, if you find you're really feeling some strain here, then just dial it back a little tiny bit to ease out of that. Now, to get more range through this, here's the trick. You're going to act as though you're trying to press your thigh away from you, but your hands are locked under the thigh and it's going to keep it from moving. So just press away from you for about 5 seconds and then release that. Kind of soften the leg a bit and then you'll find you can probably bring it a little bit closer to your chest. Let's do that 2 more times. So pressing away, Hands are keeping the leg in place. And release it, soften the leg a little bit, and then bring it in closer. One last time. So this exercise is the exception to the 20 repetition things. We just do this 3 times. So pressing into the hands, pressing away, count of 5. Soften that leg, just relax it a little bit, and then bring it in a little closer. And release that. So I don't know if you got out of it what I get out of it, but I get a significant improvement over the range that I can do. I can compress through that hip joint quite a bit more by the time I've done those 3. So let's go to the other side. Again, you can choose to have your leg long, or it can be bent a little bit. I'll bend it this time. And bring your knee towards your chest. If you find your knee is kind of going more toward your underarm, then bring it in line, even if you can't bring it as far. So trying to keep that straight, relax the foot. And then once you've found where your comfortable max position is, press into the hands. And release, soften, bring it a little bit closer. And again, pressing away. And release, a little bit closer. And last time, pressing away. Relaxing, and then bringing it a little closer. And let's just hold that one for just a little bit so that we can make use of the freedom we got in that hip joint. And release that, shake them out. Let's get some movement through there. Now, let's see, what number was that? That was number 7. Our spine rotations. I love our spine rotations. And I think most of you will probably get some release from it too. So we're going to come at the spine from a couple of different directions. At first, we're going to get the base of the spine. So to do that, we're going to put our legs pretty well the width of the mat. Your hands can just be out here on the floor. Maybe the palms are up to have a nice open chest. And you're going to drop one knee to one side. Actually, both are over there. And then to the other side. So you can use this 2 ways. You can either hold the position and get maybe a bit more of a stretch through the side of the hip and the leg and thigh. Or you can just keep rolling from one side to the other. They'll have a different effect for you, but it just really depends on what feels good for you. So I'm finding if I'm keeping the flow going from one side to the other, still not fast, it's still a relatively slow move, but I'm getting a really nice kind of a massage feel on the base of the spine, top of the pelvis. A couple more times each side. And when you're doing this, your chest is staying nicely centered on the floor. The movement is coming from the base of your spine on down. The rest of you is staying intact. All right, let's bring that back. Now let's roll over to one side and we'll tackle the spine from this angle. So you're going to sit somewhat in a fetal position. Make sure your head is nice and cushioned here. So you may find your pillow is enough. You may want to use your arm as well. Your knees are bent. And so they're only at about, they're not coming right up to a 90 degree. They're maybe at a 45 degrees here. And one arm is going to come forward. We've done this before, so it'll probably be familiar to you. And then just lifting that arm up toward the ceiling and bringing it behind. Your head can roll with it if you want. Maybe you can keep your hand in your line of vision. And you're coming up again, nice and slow, getting some nice opening through the underarm as you bring it back. Your body can move a little bit with this if needed. Just don't come right off the floor and do this kind of a move. But, you know, your knees can move a little bit, the spine. Get your breathing to work with you. Maybe breathe in, halfway up, breathe out the other. In and out. There's some move that makes it really rhythmic for you. So most of this movement is coming from your middle and upper back and across the shoulders. And let's do this one more time on this side. And come out of that, and you can roll over to the other side. You probably noticed as we were going through that your body started to loosen up and soften up, and you were able to get a greater range. Sometimes I make this a little bit of a game with myself, and I see how many repetitions it takes before my body starts to really open up a little bit more and be a little more forgiving. For me, the magic number tends to be about 6. And then I always like to do a couple more in that sort of freedom position. But it's different, and it's different from side to side because, of course, we use our different sides of our bodies very differently. All right, so you come down in your position. Just take a moment to see where your knees are in relation to the rest of you. Your heels might be kind of in line with your bum. And you're reaching forward and go into your spinal rotation. Remembering to breathe in whatever pattern you've decided works for you. Avoiding holding our breath. And nice and slow, maybe if you found yourself speeding up, you might just want to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to do 2 more times. And last one coming. And come out of that. All right. Just make yourself comfortable as I check my handy dandy list here. Ah, yes. Bridges. My favorite. They are getting easier as I get stronger through the hips. Bridges are a great exercise to do. They also engage quite a few muscles. So if you'll come down onto your back, I'll walk you through some of the areas that really get tackled here. There's no doubt as we move up into a bridge, we are feeling it in our abs to a certain extent because we're keeping the ribs from rolling down. Certainly feeling it in the glutes that are keeping the bum up. This also is great, front of the hip or the hip flexor area. So that's something maybe we'll pay attention to today as we do these. So first, let's roll into our bridges. So your feet are going to be hip width apart. Just take a moment to make sure they're not splaying out to the side a little bit. See if you can bring them in line with your hips. And let's roll the lower back gently toward the floor and keep that roll going as you press up through your heels to come up into a nice bridge position. Your hands on the floor will have the palms facing toward the ceiling. So here, you're going to think about your knees going long. You're going to think about tucking that lower rib maybe a little bit closer to your hip bone, but your weight is very nicely centered on your shoulders here. You're never rolling up so high that you're getting the weight on your neck. And now let's roll back 1 vertebrae at a time as we come down into this. I'm going to add a little something onto this morning to just give you a little bit more of a challenge as we go through these. But let's roll on up. So just keep the straightforward roll up and down for a moment. Bring that down. And let's roll up, touching on every vertebrae that you can on the way up, and actually picturing that it's maybe like a chain where you're releasing one link at a time. And bring that down. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I have enough room overhead. You might want to make sure you do too, because we'll be bringing the arms up over. So let's go back into that. We're rolling up into our bridge. Come up into a nice strong bridge. Then bring your hands up overhead with your thumb pointing toward the floor. You may or may not touch the floor. But you're going to keep that rib tucked down. Here's where it really might want to pop up toward the sky. Keep it down. Now, holding your arms up above your head, see if you can still do that roll down one vertebrae at a time. For me, this isn't as smooth of a move. It really depends on your individual body. So bring your hands back. Let's do that 2 more times. So I'm going to roll up into my bridge. Come up into that nice strong position, taking a moment to check everything, and then bringing the hands up overhead, keeping the arms overhead as I slowly roll down. Trying to really articulate through the spine. Hands come back. Let's do that one last time. Let's roll up into our bridge. Nice strong position. Knees are pointing toward the opposite wall. Bring the hands up overhead. And then let's roll that down. And come out of that. You might want to relax a little bit after that, bringing your knees into your chest, maybe roll around a little bit to get some nice release through that lower back. Softening the front of the hip flexors here as we bring those knees in. And the next one is going to address our core. So it'll look like it's a leg exercise, and we've done this before too. But I just want to emphasize as a way to tell you that we've covered off all the different kind of parts of the body that we want to keep moving and we want to keep fluid over time. This one addresses the core. So those are the muscles from about your mid-rib cage here down into your hip zone. So that whole part that should be nice and strong to keep you walking, to keep your posture nice and youthful looking. Anyway, hands on the floor, palms up. You can bring one leg up to tabletop, and I'll remind you again that tabletop is 90 degrees at the hip here and about a 90 at the knee. So we don't want to bring it closer to the chest than that. The work happens when we have it in this position. So bring that one down and bring the other one up to tabletop and down. So if this is your working range today or your challenge point, then you can keep on doing that. You're pulling your belly button in towards your spine as you do this. Now to ramp it up a little bit, for those of you who want to do this, you bring one leg up to tabletop and the second one comes up to join it. And just take a moment to feel how much more of a challenge that is. You're working harder to keep your spine or your belly button towards your spine. You want to make sure your back stays in neutral. So you don't want to be arching. And you don't want to be compensating for it by rolling your back into the floor either. So you're trying to keep that back in a nice neutral position as you keep these two legs to tabletop. Then we can turn this into a little marching motion. We can bring one down and the other down. And then repeating up and down. And keep repeating this. Taking note to stop in tabletop. And if you just did 20 of these by repeating this, you would find it's quite demanding. But if for some reason you've got abs of steel and nice strong back muscles and you want to amp it up a little bit, here's what you can do. You can bring one to tabletop, the other to tabletop, and keeping one in tabletop, just touch your toe and bring it back. Other side, touch the toe and bring it back. All slow, keeping those abs nice and strong, keeping the back in neutral, and you decide which one is your favorite going forward. I'm going to stretch that long because I find it feels kind of good on the abs. And what can also feel good for you, you do whatever your body's telling you you're needing. Maybe bringing your knees in towards your chest is your best option at this time. All right. While we're down on the floor, let's move into a few stretches. So if you want to come over onto your side, I'm going to remove my pillow. And I'm going to go long on the floor. So I'm on my side and I'm going long. One hand is straight under my head and the other is supporting me for the moment as I take the top foot and just put it behind the other leg and bring the second arm up to reach nice and long. And give that a nice stretch, pointing your toes, your feet away from you, pointing your fingertips in the opposite direction. And you should be getting a really nice stretch along this whole side. So just enjoy that for a moment. Breathe. All right, let's release that, but still on this side. You can cushion your head if you want. You can bend the lower knee and grab your foot or your pant leg and see if you can get a nice quad stretch across the front of that hip. And if you want to have that stretch move a little bit more into the hip flexors, then roll the bum. Kind of think about rolling the bum under or pressing this hip bone forward. It'll give you that extra little stretch. And release that. Shake it out. Come over onto the other side to do those two stretches. Take a moment to adjust yourself. And we were going long. And then when you're ready, that top leg is going to go behind the other one. And then the second arm joins the first one right up here, pointing away from you in both directions. And breathe. Let's release that. Cushion your head, bend your bottom leg just to help support you a little bit, and grab your foot or your pant leg and see if you can get a nice stretch across the front of that thigh and into the hip flexor. And let's release that, and let's slowly make our way to stand. I'm going to bring my chair back. And we'll do a few stretches from here. So I just wanted to show you in case it should be handy for you sometime. So we just did that, the stretch for the quads on the floor, pulling the leg up. That can be difficult for some people. So an option is to sit sideways on the chair, have your one cheek kind of hanging over. Your foot goes under you, but you're keeping this leg in line. It's about a 90-degree bend here. So in other words, in this case, we're not going in this back position. We're keeping this at 90. What you're doing to get the extra stretch is to roll that bum under, and you really feel that nice, gentle stretch here. It can be a little bit more of a controlled move. So I just want to demonstrate that. Let's go into our pretzel because we did use our glutes somewhat, especially with the bridges. And so to release through the glutes and the side of the glutes here, you're going to, if you can, bring one knee, one ankle up to one knee. Standing tall. Think about maybe moving your knee closer to the floor, opening up through the hip here. If you're wanting more of a stretch, you can hinge forward from the waist. So you're not rolling, you're just going to hinge forward, but take this cautiously because it can be a little aggressive in this position. So just go to the position where you've got your ideal stretch. Hold it. And breathe. And release that. Shake it out. The other side. Ankle goes over the knee. If you can't get this position, then just think about bringing the leg up and seeing if you can get a bit of a stretch through the glutes that way. Remember that first step was to just push the knee a little bit away from you. Might just be a millimeter, but you'll still have the sense of opening up a little bit more. Then if you're wanting, hinge forward very gently, very cautiously, very gradually. And hold your position. And release that. All right, shake out those legs. Let's take a moment to bring one leg long and low. We're going to keep it low because we're not wanting to activate those quad muscles very much. We just want to get a bit of a stretch on the back of the leg as you bring the toes up toward your nose. So flex your foot and point. And flex and point. So when you're flexing it, you're certainly going to feel it a bit in your calf. It would be nice also if you felt it go up a little bit into your hamstrings. And let's do two more. And last one here. And bring that down. Let's go to the other foot. Point and flex. So remember to keep the leg low. We really don't want it working too hard here. Just trying to get a stretch out of it. And two more. Last one here. Good. All right. I mentioned earlier we'd be doing some cats and cows on the chair, so let's do that. We're going to be sitting back here. So for your cow, oh, I had said we'd do it standing, I think. Let's do it standing. Let's come on up. Practice that nice strong standing. Let's do that again. So start from here, recruit your abdominal muscles, your glute muscles, your core, and come on up nice and strong. There, good. Put the chair to one side. Cats and cows standing. Maybe get a nice wide stance here because that just might feel more comfortable right about now. And you're going to reach out as if you're hugging a great big beach ball. So that beach ball is so wide that you're having to open up through the top of the chest here. As you surround that beach ball, your head comes down, your knees are nicely bent so that you've got a nice rounded back. You turn sideways so you can see that position. And then come out of that. Standing tall, your hands are going to go down, your shoulder blades are coming together a little bit. And as you press your hands down, and then back into your beach ball hug, and straight up, hands down, shoulder blades together. One last time, here we go. Hug that ball, nice and round through the lower back, head's relaxed, looking maybe back towards your knees, and come out of that, pressing down and pressing away. All right, Shake that out. Let's press the hands away from the body. Keep this nice and low if you like. Nice little stretch there. And then if you flip your hands the other way and try to pull or act as though you're trying to pull your hands apart, then you should get a really nice stretch across the base of the neck. And shake that out. All right. Let's bring the hands out here to the side. We're going to give ourselves a nice hug here as you bring one arm across and grab your rib cage or that general area and bring the other one over it and really roll those shoulders in as if you're trying to bring one shoulder closer to the other shoulder at the front. And then coming out of that, one arm at a time. See if you can remember which arm was on top, because now we're going to try to do the opposite. So the other arm comes across and fold over the other way and bring that together. Unwind out of that and bring that down. As always, let's finish off with our 3 deep breaths. Let's scoop and let's really fill those lungs as we come on down. And 2 more, enjoy it. And last time, here we go. Good, I hope you enjoyed today's class and remember to stay active. These are your basic 10 moves. You can always amp them up, but at a basic level, this is what will keep you moving and looking in. Thank you.